All right, let's dive right in. To really get a handle on the life of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the incredible message he brought, we have to go back in time, way back. We need to explore the stage where this entire world-changing story was set. So we're going to journey into the land, the geography, and the world of ancient Arabia.
And that really is the big question for us today. What was this world actually like? Because, geography isn't just about drawing lines on a map. It shapes a people, it steers the course of history, and it sets the scene for every single thing that's about to happen. So let's get our bearings.
So if we zoom out and look at the big picture, the Arabian Peninsula is this huge land bridge. It's like a pivotal crossroads that connects Asia, Africa, and Europe. It's a place that was largely defined and kind of isolated by the massive bodies of water all around it, which created this really unique environment for its people and culture to glow.
I mean, when you look at it, the peninsula is almost an island. To the west, you've got the Red Sea, which forms this natural barrier with Africa. Down south, the Arabian Sea opens up into the massive Indian Ocean. And over to the east, it's bordered by the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. The only part that connects to the mainland is up north, the ancient lands of Sham, what we'd now call Syria, Palestine, Jordan, and Lebanon. This position made it both a protected cradle for culture and a super strategic hub for world trade.
Okay, so now that we've got to bird's eye view, let's zoom in. We're going to take a little journey through the different regions of the peninsula itself. Each one has its own personality, its own feel, and its own story, and we'll start down in the prosperous south and work our way up.
Our first stop is Yemen. Now, historically, this place was known as the greenest, most fertile part of all of Arabia. With its milder climate and lush valleys, it was a land overflowing with fruits and crops, and it was home to some amazing ancient civilizations. And maybe the most famous of them all, the people of Saba.
Now this timeline, this is a huge moment in Arabian history. The people of Saba were absolute master engineers. They built the incredible Marib Dam, which basically turned parts of the desert into a garden. But, as the tradition tells us, when they turned away from God, disaster struck. The dam burst, and the flood that followed wasn't just destructive, it was world-changing. It triggered a massive migration, sending the tribes of Yemen scattering all across the peninsula, and that single event fundamentally reshaped the demographics of the whole region for centuries.
So as we move north from Yemen, we come to the region known as the Hijaz, and this is the sacred heartland. This is the land that, in Islamic tradition, was chosen by Allah himself to be the place where the final light of guidance would shine for all of humanity. The Hijaz is home to some of the most important places in history. You've got Mecca, famously sitting in a dry, barren valley. You have Yathrib, the city that would one day become Medina, the city of the Prophet. And then you have places like Taif, which was a lush, green oasis. And of course, there are those famous valleys, Badr, Uhud, names that are going to echo throughout the story of Islam.
And this just shows you the incredible diversity you could find right there in the Hijaz. I mean, look at this. On one hand, Mecca, stark, rugged, surrounded by these imposing mountains, and then, just a short trip away, you have Taif, which people called a paradise in the desert, just full of gardens and fruit. It's like two totally different worlds in one small area.
Okay, let's do a quick lightning tour of the rest of the peninsula. East of the Hijaz is Najd, where modern-day Riyadh is located. Further south, you find Hadramaut, a mostly barren coastal area. The eastern coast, think Oman and Bahrain, was famous for pearl diving long before anyone knew about oil. And up to the northeast, the Sinai Peninsula, a land with its own deep prophetic history. I mean, that's the place where Prophet Moses, peace be upon him, received the Torah.
So, we've mapped out the land. We've got the lay of the land. But what about the people who called it home? What does the name they were known by, Arab, what does that even mean? Well, the answer tells us a whole lot about what they valued most. You see, the word Arab has two really fascinating possible origins, and each one points to a core pillar of their identity. One is about their incredible command of language, and the other is about the defining landscape they lived in. So here are the two big theories. One idea is that Arab comes from eloquence. The Arabs were absolute masters of poetry and the spoken word, and they saw other people as ajam, which kind of means inarticulate or mumbling. Their identity was wrapped up in their linguistic genius. The other theory, it links Arab to Araba, the desert. Their identity was forged by the vast, difficult land they called home. So were they the people of the eloquent tongue or the people of the desert? Both theories tell a really powerful story. Okay, so let's pull back and put all these pieces on the board. We've explored the boundaries of the peninsula. We've journeyed through its diverse regions, and we've even looked at what the name of its people might mean. The stage is now set.
And it's really important to be clear about what we mean by Arabia here. We are talking about the original peninsula, places like modern-day Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Oman, Bahrain. The wider Arab world that we think of today, including places like Syria, Iraq, and Egypt, that came much, much later. That happened after the spread of Islam led to migrations that carried the Arabic language and culture far beyond its original home.
So, the geography is set. We understand the physical world that was waiting for the final message. But a stage is pretty empty without its actors, right? So what about the people, their beliefs, their culture, their tribes, their entire way of life? Well, that is exactly where we're headed next.